Hi. Hello. Hello. I thought you were gonna fall down, but the sorcery that I was not doing saved you. I wasn't trying to do anything, and that's why it worked. Yeah. Oh, there's like a vocabulary word. Preposterous. I already know what that means. Like, I hate when the vocabulary word is something that I already know. I'm realizing right now, hate is a very strong word. I'm like, I would rather fall into lava than have the vocabulary word be a word that I already know, despite the fact that I just know a lot of English words. And, like, I don't want to not know the English words. I just want the vocabulary words to be something mind-blowing, because why am I wasting my time? But I didn't waste my time. I didn't waste my time because it just randomly showed up on my screen. But, like, I had to read the word preposterous off of my screen, like, and that was preposterous because I already knew what the word meant. Like make words that I can't even believe exist. Then I'll be happy. Make, like, actually, like, hurt my brain with the words that you're creating. And I'll be happier because I learned something. I didn't learn anything from, like, fucking preposterous popping up on the screen, but maybe somebody is gonna need to know that word someday, and, like, the app just, like, sends random vocabulary words to you, but, like, if you're gonna give me the notification, like, make it worth it. Anyway. Guys, I decided to get the Minecraft meal for the third time in my life. So, yeah. I got the little, like, bird one this time, though. I don't know why I'm doing it again. Oh, no. But, like, why not? Sometimes life is, like, you don't know what you're currently... I mean, I do know what I'm currently learning from life in, like, 10 other ways. But in this one, like, little aspect, I'm like, do I know what I'm currently learning with that? Yes and no, not really. Like, the story hasn't fully, like, evolved. It hasn't come to, like, a cusp yet. Not that you know what I mean, but, like, you know when you're learning something, but, like, little tiny bits of it show up here and there, and you're like, I don't know why, but I have, like, a very small quest today to, like, get the next little tiny piece of the storyline of what I'm currently learning. And then after that, I'm going to, like, have another quest a different day that's, like, microscopic and weird to have ever had. And it just, like, I'll, like, download the next little, like, part of the energy that I'm currently learning about. Intelligence? I don't know, guys. Honestly, I'm more and more sure that I don't know what intelligence is every single day. That I wouldn't have a definition for it. I mean, obviously, it's not a very hard word to define in a way that other people would agree with. But I'm not looking for somebody's stamp of approval on how I would define intelligence. And it's not even just about the obvious fact that there's multiple forms of intelligence. This actually just has nothing to do with the scientific understanding of certain things. It's like, from more of a spiritual aspect, every time that I think of the concept of intelligence, I imagine something so much more different than the intelligence that I receive, because there's a version of intelligence where you receive it rather than forcibly create it yourself. And I wouldn't say that they're not equal to each other, it's just that I have a lot farther to go in my journey still, to where I'm more so, like, forcibly creating the intelligence rather than receiving it, because I find it very easy to receive the intelligence while just alone in my own brain doing nothing. Like, I don't have to really, like, do something specific. It's more like the meditation where I receive, it's like every action just goes towards something. And the more that I'm sure that it's going towards nothing, the more that I'm going to receive when that comes back around, because it's more like, wow, I had to question it to this degree. Wow, I had to not believe in it to this degree. Wow, I had to really find out that there's way more of myself to even question existed at all. Like, I definitely have found it so interesting working with more than one deity, and I was saying this to myself. I was saying this to myself last night while staring at the candles that I had lit on my altar safely, not in a way with so many flames that if I blow it out, it's going to turn into a fire tornado, like what happened the other day. So yeah, like I was talking to myself, and not really to myself, I was also talking to like the deities, but you know how like when you talk to yourself, you like work up the energy, you talk to them, you have like energy towards that. The candles being lit was really putting me in that zone. One of the deities got wine, the other one I have just not got there yet. Like, I mean, I have, but like I haven't, I kind of skipped that step, and so I'm gonna go back around to it, but like I haven't like gotten back to the point in time where I'm going to do that. Like, it's weird. Yeah. Because it randomly came to my mind. It randomly came to my mind. Why is my voice like this? My voice is like different now. Oh my gosh. I noticed like the slightest change to my reality, and I'm like, do I even like the way that this is changing me? But I don't, and that's the whole point. And I think that that's actually part of one way that people can keep their spirit. I think there's multiple ways, because it's like the idea, like when you leave the human lifetime, it's like, do you keep all of your human spirit or just some of it, or like what do you do, right? Like, I actually kind of believe like you don't automatically keep it, but I think that life's journey is like, if you want it to, life's, or like you set out for that, like before coming here to Earth. Like, I think life's journey essentially will, my voice not being perfect is like, I can't do that, but I have to. That's life. Like, that's how it is. That's how it is at the moment. And it's like, you can't even tell the difference probably, but I can. I was gonna say, like, well, it's only been 7 minutes. I'm like, I've talked about like 10 things by now. Yeah. Anyway. I was gonna say, I feel like life's energy, or like the journey you sign up for, like trains you on how to keep your human spirit if you do what you're like supposed to do, essentially. Like if you like, or if you don't do what you're supposed to do and you do something else. It's not the default, but I think it almost might as well be the default. Not that it always happens for people, but I think if you have like a strong soul, it becomes the default because you're smart enough to make it the default for yourself. At least I structure when I look at my reality. I'm like, okay, like if I can make all of the things that I'm like supposed to do the default and something that I'm automatically going to do anyways, then I'm eliminating all of the like ways that something could go wrong. Maybe I've just worked on my lower chakras a lot too. But it was so funny. I went to Joann Fabrics. This is coming back to the story about the candles and the deities and those conversations now. So I went to Joann Fabrics because they're closing also, not just Forever 21. They're also going out of business at the same time. Everything's on sale. Like, my bank account has died. Like, my bank account, its eyes are being sewn shut with like a threaded needle. Like, my bank account has died. My bank account, it's not alive. It's not alive. So yeah, like the holes of its nose, yeah, they're being sewn shut with like a needle and thread. Like, it has died. My bank account has died. Like, its mouth is being sewn shut with like a thread and needle. Like, my bank account has passed away, unfortunately, you know, like, yeah. Because I'm like, why would I not get the sales? But also because I use a lot of like, I mean, clothes with Forever 21. I just wanted to like get fun stuff. Like, I was like, whatever, like, I deserve some fun things in my life, you know? I mean, not that everything in my life is not fun, but like I feel like when I do have a fun experience, I'm like, finally, like I deserved a fun experience. Like, where was it? Even though like the whole time, even though like I've been having like a fun experience, but like I feel like what you see your reality as in retrospect for the soul is like literally how you like upgrade in a way, because like it's like your soul is supposed to be able to recognize like Earth isn't where you're meant to be, like you're meant to like upgrade and like not have to reincarnate again. So I think that like sometimes what you picture in retrospect helps you to do that, even if you could be like, oh, like I remember like this and this and that I'm grateful for. It's like, but what does gratitude even do for you? Does it manifest something? I kind of don't believe in like the uneducated, like untested version of manifestation where it's like your vibration just like attracts stuff. Guys, the idea your vibration, I actually see that as like kind of dangerous. The idea that your vibration just like attracts stuff. Like I feel like at one point in time I believed in that, but I actually see that as very dangerous, because you want to know what's at a higher vibration. Not being on Earth is at a higher vibration, right? Because there's higher realms. So I actually don't want to see it that way. Like I find it kind of disturbing to be like, if people are like, oh, you just like weren't at a good vibration. Like what about when they were born? And like they weren't born with whatever you were born with because they were at like a different vibration? In the afterlife. In between, like they were at the wrong vibration. Like that doesn't work, because at that point you literally just like imagine a vibration, you go there. Like as long as you like believe in yourself, like it's not that hard when you're not in a human body. When you're in a human body, yeah, it's hard to change your vibration. You want to know what happened? What really, really, really put the final puzzle piece in place for me. I work at Sam's Club. So at Sam's Club the other day, there's always like what is it called? A forklift like coming your way, okay? At Sam's Club, there's always like a forklift like coming your way. You always have to get out of the way because they're zooming by on the forklifts for some reason, for something. I mean, there's a lot to do, but like for something, they're always zooming by. They're always zooming by on a forklift, so you have to like run out of the way a little bit, okay? I like did not run out of the way. I almost did not run out of the way fast enough. I almost got hit with a trash bag full of blood from some animal, because they have like the, not deli, but what is it called? When it's like the meat version of a deli. Whatever the meat version of a deli is called, they have that. Wait, a deli might actually have to do with meat. I don't know. Wait, it does, doesn't it? But they have like the raw meat deli. There's like, you know what, like a cooked meat deli, they have like a raw meat deli. They have that, you know? So like, so of course there was like a trash bag full of blood from that. They were like zooming by to like get to the trash can that was like super far away. Like indoors, all of this was happening in the gray cement building made out of giant bricks that, you know, I don't know, probably locks from the inside or whatever, something creepy, I don't know. But like, no offense to that, but like the designers, like how weird is that? I don't know. I thought of that as weird. But I also don't want to think too much about why it's weird, because I hope it's not something like seriously weird in the future, right? Because I feel like I kind of like preconceived like mentally a lot of timelines from the future, and I'm like, so it could go this way, it could technically go that way, like this one thing is gonna happen, we're gonna see that in the news, then we're gonna do that, and then we're gonna do that. So I try to like not open those doors. Like mentally I'm like, I'm not gonna open those cans of worms, right? I'm like mentally like, I'm gonna go through a little bit of this blind, because like if I had to fully be mentally open to every timeline and reality, I would just not be fine, and also nobody would believe me. So it would be a combination of like, it would either lead to me not believing in myself, which wouldn't be that bad because then it's just something else to overcome, but like at the same time it's like you don't want to take every opportunity for something else to overcome if you're already overcoming enough. There's like little, like, you could like add obstacles to your journey at any moment. It's like, why would you know? Anyway, that's not the full story. So there was like a trash bag full of like animal parts that were being discarded, like they weren't good enough for whatever reason, okay? And there was a trash bag full of blood. I almost got hit with a trash bag full of blood because I did not jump out of the way that fast. Like, you know, like it was fine, but like I made it, but like I was scared. I was like, I feel like I almost got hit by that trash bag full of blood, but visually I noticed those were at a very high vibration, okay? Those were at a very high vibration, like let's be so real, those were at a very high vibration. And you want to live a happy life as a human for the remainder of your time here. That's what you want. That's what you want. That's what you should want. You should want to stay on the planet because that's literally, you're here for a reason. Like that's literally like your purpose, right? But you don't want to have to reincarnate after this lifetime, especially not if it's not by choice. Like you don't want to like be forced into that. That's not what you want, okay? That's just not what you want. You know, like if there's any of your spirit left to keep when you're crossing over, you want to keep it with you, that kind of thing. Like that's what I believe. Like you, if there's anything left of it, you keep it. But what is reality, right? Like, you know, so it's kind of subjective. But I do believe in that your spirit is supposed to kind of like you're supposed to just like keep it if you can. But it's like up to you to decide if you believe that you deserve to be able to. And it's like, then how are you going to make sure that you believe you deserve to be able to where it's automatic and you don't think about it? Because if it's not automatic, like what if the time in between that you spent deciding if it made sense, like what if that's what harms you? Like in the in-between realms, right? You always want to be like safe. I think that, you know, you always want to be safe. But you also want to work on your lower chakras. In my opinion, the more you work on your lower chakras, the more safe is what you automatically do, or what you believe in retrospect that you automatically did, which eliminates the like, it's also a little bit mental, but like, you know, I think, yeah, I don't know, like I kind of think about it a lot. I'm like, oh, like if somebody wanted to like keep the spirit of their crown chakra, like I almost see it as like the physical body itself shows where the spirit is. So it's like, would you keep the spirit of your hand? And like, what would you do? So in my mind, I decided, I saw this news story of a lady that like reached her hand inside of an alligator's mouth to save her dog. It was like where, like around in Florida, because I live in Florida, so I saw this news story, and it's like her dog was getting chomped down on by this alligator. She reached her whole hand inside the alligator's mouth. She almost lost her hand, but she didn't. She got to keep it. There was like no scars on her hand or anything. You know, she reached her hand all the way inside the alligator's mouth. She could have lost her hand because she was about to lose her dog's face, but she saved the dog instead. And I don't think people are like obligated to do that by the point where it's like a large predator with like sharper teeth than you have is like trying to eat your dog. Like at that point it's like kind of up to you, like what do you think, like how much do you want the dog versus how much do you want your hand? But she got lucky and she got to keep both. So in my opinion, it's like I think that it's like she got to keep the spirit of like some of the energy of her hand because she was willing to like risk it in order to do that. But I actually think that her soul decided to like be a part of a spiritual contract before that even happened with the alligator. Okay? Like I kind of think like her soul within like a few hours before that, at some point her soul would have been like, oh, like I'm not keeping enough of the energy of my hand. Like if I were to die right now, like I wouldn't be keeping the energy of my hand. Or so, whatever. I think that's kind of like how her soul would have like, I don't think she was consciously aware of that at all because it wouldn't make sense. And I don't think she was like spiritual. She didn't say anything about that in the recording of the video. On the news, you know, it was on the news. So yeah. Yeah, I just think that like her soul would have had to sort of like agree to the contract in a way, but I don't think it was more than like a few hours before that, like probably like 6 or 8 hours before that. I think sometimes a timeline is brewing, especially when it involves multiple entities. Like it involved her dog. You have to think about how perfectly placed in the sand at the beach her dog had to be. It had to be in this exact spot, you know, so her soul had to kind of be like, okay, like my dog has to be standing in this exact spot, like not enough that she's gonna like physically like put her dog here, you know what I mean, or like move it over like a few inches because the alligator is not gonna know where to go, like not like that, but like, you know, I do kind of believe that like the next timeline is like agreed to in like spirit, but that does not mean that you're mind is like prepared to experience that. If anything, it probably means the opposite sometimes, because like sometimes you have to be like afraid of an experience to even do what you think is like the next like part of the story. Like if you mentally knew the whole thing, like you might not be able to do what you think you're supposed to do, essentially. Like if she thought the world were fake, she never would have tried to save her dog. Like if she thought that like it were a simulation, why would she try to save her dog? Because she'd be like, my dog's just gonna like go somewhere else. Like she had to think the world was like real to such a degree. Like she had to think everything was like the end of the world and super serious, right? And like you only have this life kind of thing, right? I think in order to even try to save the dog. Not that she wouldn't have cared, but like she risked like losing her whole like hand or arm, right? What if the alligator just took that too? But it didn't. Like it did not. So yeah. Anyway, so I think that's kind of like how a soul could decide, okay, I'm going to, like, I think that what I did was like the most that I could have done. So I think that because I lived up to my own expectations, that maybe I deserve to keep some of the energy of the hand, like the spirit of their hand in their human spirit, before like reincarnating or dying or whatever, that kind of thing. So yeah, what I was gonna say though about the whole vibration thing is I kind of find it like stressful and kind of stupid and terrifying when people are like, oh, like your vibration has to be perfect, that's why this and this and that are not manifesting. It's like, that trash bag of blood that I saw the other day was like at the highest vibration that I've seen in a long time. Like that does not mean it's good to like go become that, you know what I mean? Like because it technically is at a higher vibration to like leave the planet and go to like a higher dimension. Who knows where those animals were going before like they died, you know? Like I don't know, the trash bag full of blood was at a very high vibration. If that, like that's not where I would set out to go. You know what I'm saying? Like just because something's at a high vibration does not mean that that's like a timeline you actually want to envy or strive for or like become. You don't want to manifest everything that's at a like higher vibration than you. You want to look at like the whole timeline and be like, would I even be happy if I went there? Would I have quality of life if I went there? Would I still be alive if I went there? Would I have an upgrade if I went there? Would I be losing something that's like really important to me if I went there? Would it be a sacrifice that I would be like agreeing to make, or would it be a sacrifice that's like forced? And like it doesn't mean you get to control your future timeline. It does not mean that your conscious mind gets to choose. I mean, I think there are cases where that happens, and I think there's cases where that doesn't happen at all. But I think that if you're ever in a position where you get to choose like what direction you want to go in, you want to make sure that it's a direction that you're actually going to benefit from overall and as a person. You do want to benefit spiritually from it, but you also want to benefit as a person in your life. It doesn't mean you get to choose everything. It means maybe you get to resist some obstacles and know that you tried your hardest to avoid it, or maybe you get to like not have some bad experiences. It does not mean that just because something's at a higher vibration that you actually want it. Because for some people on the planet, not being alive could be at a higher vibration than them. It does not mean that you just want that. Because obviously that's way worse. So, because it's like infinitely worse, you don't want to not complete your mission as a person, you know? Like, you don't want to like, you have to live your lifetime. Like, you can't not. So, yeah. I think sometimes people get wrapped up in like, oh, like this person's at like such a high vibration, this person looks like they have an easy life, like this person looks like they have this and that, and it's like, that's not necessarily better. You just don't know everything going on in the story. Even if you know that person genuinely has like a good, healthy life, you don't know how long that situation's going to be, or you don't know how like what the future is for them. You don't know if that's actually going to remain true, or if they're actually going to have like some horrible situation that you genuinely would have wanted to prevent for yourself. You're just like too busy envying them to realize that the soul knows how to envy future trauma that somebody's going through way more than like something just positive and fun and sunshine and rainbows. Like, the soul is going to overlook sunshine and rainbows very easily, and the soul is going to envy the lessons learned from trauma that you didn't have to go through, or that you're not going to have to go through in the future, because like the soul wants to go where more energy is. Which is why I think that learning how to like sense and read some energy is a good thing, because like, to me, if you don't do it, you might accidentally like walk down a timeline where you don't realize like something really disturbing is going on. Or if you had learned to sense the energy, you would have like, say you wanted to be like somebody, like you envy them, you're jealous of them, you're whatever, like, or you're like passionate about how you can be like somebody, but you don't really know anything about the energy of like who they are. Most likely, it's not a good reason why you are so passionate about wanting to be like them. Like, you can be influenced by them and influenced by the good parts of what you see, but you kind of want to separate that and not be like, I just want to be the entirety of like whatever they have going on, even if it's bad. Like, you don't want to go there, because then it probably is bad. Like, the soul knows how to envy, like, the trauma that you either didn't have to experience or won't have to experience. So that's like what the soul is most likely to envy. I mean, along with beauty, but sometimes you don't know if that's real or an illusion. For some people it's an illusion, for some people it's real. And it doesn't mean that like it doesn't matter, but it's like, in some cases, for a certain timeline, somebody has to look a certain way. A lot of these celebrities who have like extreme karma, despite having all of the resources in the world and no way to work through whatever's going on with them, right? Like, I don't know, I kind of just lost my, not train of thought, but like what I wanted to say next. Basically, like, some of these celebrities, they will look like the most beautiful person ever, but it's like they're doing something you would never do because you believe it's morally wrong, and you're like, I've already been there, done that, but I would never do that. I've never do this and that because I believe it's morally wrong, like the serious like lines you would never cross. And yet that celebrity looks so beautiful, but it was against their morals too, and still is. And yet they do that every day. But sometimes like, but they don't care because they have like so many resources, they never have to face like the cognitive dissonance, right? For some people, it's like some of the beauty is like their own morals, like being lost, but not in a way that they currently would agree with, though. And yet they continue whatever actions they don't believe in. So, not everything is actually like what it's cracked up to be, but like some things are. Sometimes it like has to be a part of the timeline for a celebrity to keep all of their beauty despite being like a horrifying person, because otherwise like certain people wouldn't have certain experiences if they didn't think that celebrity were like the most beautiful person ever, and the public wouldn't be that heartbroken if it becomes somebody they don't like care that much about, or that they're not like obsessed with over like this one photo that nobody really should care about. Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, sometimes that like captivates people. Sometimes. Not that it's like that important, but sometimes it captivates people and it's like all they can think about, you know? Like, I think that beauty is amazing when it's a reflection of how much love somebody has for themselves or other people. Like, I think that that's when beauty is like amazing. Or maybe like the strength that somebody has. Like, I think that when that's what the beauty is, then it's like amazing to have. But I think that sometimes somebody's beauty is a reflection of how much they're willing to walk on eggshells just to keep it, despite knowing that they, like, in their mind don't deserve it. So it's like, pick your battle. Not everybody's chakras or something that you would want to, like, live up to because it's actually worse than you. You just don't know that, like, you've already passed that level a lot of the time. Sometimes you haven't, sometimes you have. You just have to kind of navigate and figure out, like, where you're at. But, like, if you're constantly trying to be somebody else, you might manifest, like, a tremendous amount of trauma that person is in the future going to experience. They just haven't even got there yet. But you might be like, well, I just want to be like them so much. Like, even if they went through something negative to make them the way that they are, like, then I still want to be like them. And it's like, you don't actually want that because you're just signing up for, like, so many negative experiences that, like, you genuinely don't need to have. And, like, yeah, that's basically it. Like, that person might be walking into a way more, like, unprotected timeline in the future. It doesn't mean it's your fault if you think that they're so amazing and, like, you want to be like them. It's more like one of the traps of reality where, like, you can fall into that illusion. And I think that, like, at some point, a lot of people do. Maybe everybody at some point to even learn that. But you still want to avoid it, like, a lot, you know? You still want to avoid that, in my opinion. So that's what I got, guys. I just, again, like, don't really agree with telling other people that their vibration is, like, not good enough or something, because, like, for all you know, what if they're actually, like, overcoming so much, and, like, maybe they deserve more credit than what they're actually able to give themselves, but then you tell them, like, their vibration isn't good enough, and they're, like, looking around their life, like, what's causing it, you know? And, like, I think people can go so mentally insane just trying to, like, fix that about themselves when it was never them to begin with. Meanwhile, you're comparing them to celebrities who are, like, trafficking somebody or, like, physically harming somebody. And you're like, yeah, like, their vibration is, like, so good. Guys, a vibration, sometimes people just feel like they have an easy life, and that feels like a high vibration. Sometimes an animal died, and right now it feels like a high vibration because they're not on the planet anymore. Like, it's not always, like, what people think it is. So you don't envy the vibration of, like, an animal who died who's, like, going somewhere at, like, a higher vibration, you know, or a person, because it might feel like a high vibration to you because they're not on the planet. And it's like your imagination feels like a high vibration of, like, where could they have gone, you know, but you don't actually want that. Sometimes celebrities, like, made horrifying sacrifices that, like, you would not forgive your soul if you made in this lifetime or in, like, 10 lifetimes. Like, you don't know how long it's going to take them to overcome whatever they caused themselves. So, or caused other people, but it's like they still have to overcome it, you know? Yeah. You don't want every high vibration, and you don't want to shame every low vibration. You just want to, like, try to know yourself and identify what you actually want in as much detail as possible, and what you want to avoid in as much detail as possible, because just about nowhere is going to, like, criminalize you for knowing too much, but you don't know what could happen to you if you don't know enough, basically, in the spiritual realms and, like, possible future timelines. Anyway, I love you guys. That's really all I got. See you later. Bye. Wow, we made it to 33 minutes, 25 seconds, but I feel like this was, like, an action-packed video. I love you. Bye.